You must rest, Your Majesty. These late hours will only undermine your health.
I appreciate your concern, but I fear sleep eludes me after our last battle. No need to wait for me, Dedue, or to worry. I'll rest when I find a suitable stopping point.
You said the same the other day, then worked until the break of dawn.
I should know better than to argue when you get like this. Very well. I'll rest once I know these documents contain no errors. And if you assist me, it will go all the faster.
This is written in the language of Duscur. Is it a letter to the leadership?
Yes. I'd asked their cooperation in investigating a number of matters pertaining to the tragedy of Duscur. Some interim reports arrived the other day, so I'm thanking them for those and requesting a further investigation into another matter.
I see. Such important tasks warrant daylight. Can this not wait until morning?
And what if I fall in battle tomorrow and the work remains forever unfinished? I must do all that I can while I still draw breath. I will uncover the truth of that day and exact revenge for the dead. I swear it. There's no time to waste. After all, it doesn't appear resolving this issue will be as simple as just setting all the perpetrators to meet their end.
All the more reason to rest and preserve your health.
My rest and health can wait. At least until I've looked through these inquiries into the Western Front. And I should put in some training before I sleep, to make up for all this desk work.
Do you still have nightmares of that day?
You remember then? I'm surprised. I've not mentioned them in years. I used to summon you to my room under the pretense of keeping you safe from the others in the castle. Then I'd have you listen to me babble until sleep finally claimed me.
I've always been grateful for the consideration you showed.
It was my own selfishness, nothing praiseworthy.
Well, if sleep still evades you, I would be happy to lend an ear.
That would only succeed in exhausting us both. We have an early start tomorrow, so please, get some rest. I know you will once again implore me not to overextend myself. But I assure you that I know my own limits better than anyone.
At least let me bring tea before I depart.
That would be wonderful to do. And apologies for always putting you through so much trouble.
Your Majesty, you will take ill if you keep sleeping at your desk.
Dedue? Oh, I've done it again. Yes, well, thank you for waking me and sparing my poor neck any further damage.
You sounded pained. Is everything all right?
Dreaming of the past again, I fear.
The tragedy?
No, the day I returned to the capital afterward. Do you remember the child who cursed me after my father's funeral?
Oh, yes. I believe he was the son of a knight who fell in Duscur.
He was furious that I would not take revenge on your people, and even more enraged to see you serving as my vassal. He berated me without mercy, demanding I kill you then and there. All I could do was walk away. Everyone desires revenge for that day. Survivors and the dead alike cry out for retribution.
I know, Your Majesty.
I seek to fulfill the duty they have given me, and have never once flinched from it. And yet, Dedue, if I were mortally wounded and begged with my dying breath for you to avenge me, what would you do?
I would do it, even at the cost of my life.
And if I told you to forget me, and live for your own happiness?
I would regretfully decline. I cannot know happiness without you by my side. I would still seek vengeance. Just for my own sake, not yours.
Interesting. And nothing I say to the contrary will change your mind?
Your Majesty, can you not live for your own sake?
My life is not my own. It belongs to my kingdom, my people, and the dead. But had I been born to a different fate, well, perhaps I would have traveled outside Foden with you as a mercenary. Or perhaps I'd be a farmer. I confess the thought does sound rather delightful.
Surely you could still tread those paths.
It was a jest to do. I merely said the first thing that came to mind. I am driven by matters on which I cannot permit myself to yield. I hope you understand that.
Well then, all the more reason to get some proper rest. If work remains, I will aid you. If you have difficulty sleeping, I will lend you my ear. But seeing you slumped over at your desk disturbs me. Every time, I fear death has come for you in the night.
Death will never sneak up on me as long as I remain under your watchful attention.
Your Majesty, please.
Though, if I were to die and leave you alone, the aftermath would be horrendous. I suppose I will heed your advice. Just this once.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Felix, what are you doing here?
I had business in the capital. Speaking of, I hear you're that boar's knight now.
Or... Oh, you mean His Majesty.
Yeah, him. You must have it rough with a tiresome man like that leading you.
I think you're exaggerating, Felix. I wouldn't call him that at all. In fact, he even does our jobs for us sometimes.
See, that's exactly why he's such a problem. You should steal your job back from him once in a while. Use force if you have to.
Felix, are you?
Anyway, the castle has certainly changed in the past, what, 2 years since he took over? For one thing, there are many more commoners among the knights.
You have a good eye to notice that. But yes, His Majesty says there are pros and cons to it. For example, knights from noble families tend to be more polite and respectful. There were a lot of scuffles and misunderstandings in the beginning, but things seem to be calming down now.
And which are you, noble or commoner? You became a knight on Lord Lenato's recommendation, right?
Yeah, my situation is kind of strange. I'm almost stuck right in the middle. Still, I feel like there are things only I can do precisely because I don't fit into either box. But whenever I'm in real trouble, His Majesty and Dedue always come to my aid. So that's good.
Dedue as well, huh?
Yep, even the knights accept him as one of us now. No one's a better cook or more skilled with their hands. And he's a proper demon on the battlefield to boot. I hope to be more like him someday.
Please, no. One of him is more than enough. Especially that blind loyalty. Imitate that and you'll only end up throwing away your life on the battlefield.
Oh, are you worried about us? That's sweet, Felix. I always had the impression you cared for your friends, and now I know I'm right.
Excuse me?
I mean, sure, the things you say are pretty harsh, but you can't bring yourself to actually abandon someone. You always show so much concern for me, and for Dedue, and even for His Majesty.
Yeah, well, it'd be more work for me if anything happened to you, that's all. I'm busy enough as it is. Can't afford to take on more issues.
Well then, I'll do my best not to add to your problems.
I doubt you'll need to try that hard. You do a decent enough job of supporting folks already. So, keep up the good work and maybe I'll lend you a hand someday. You know, if you need it.
Thanks, Felix. I'll be counting on you.
Thank you for joining me on this moonlit stroll, my dear lady.
Thank you for the invitation. I've always been fond of such nighttime wanderings. The moon and stars are lovely, and there are also certain flowers that bloom only at night.
Count on you to know something like that. You'll have to point me in the direction of those flowers sometime.
Yes, well, what did you want to talk about?
Well, I heard you were getting engaged, and I was just wondering how you felt.
Goodness, someone is well informed.
Well, your fiancé-to-be is a noble from Gautier territory. It's only natural word would find its way to me. Are you going to accept? I mean, I don't think he's a bad guy or anything, but...
No, it's a fair question. However, as my adoptive father backs the proposal, I doubt I have much say in the matter. Though if I did, I'd likely refuse. There's still so much I want to do and experience in this world. Still, I doubt there's much hope of the parties involved relenting.
Why not just turn him down like you do all the other guys?
I've refused so many proposals that my adoptive father has run out of patience. And as he's already initiated the marriage discussions, it would be difficult to back out now.
That lowlife doesn't care about your feelings at all. He just cares about that crest of yours.
We don't choose our bloodline, just like flowers don't choose where to bloom. If being married means I will never know want, then I've no right to complain, even if it is not my preferred outcome. You're much the same, yes? People like us have to try to bloom as best we can.
I never really thought of myself as a flower, but I get what you're saying. Flowers are stuck in the same spot for life, whether they like it or not. And if they happen to sprout in a bad area, they're out of luck. But we have legs, not roots. We can go wherever we want. And we don't have to give up on our dreams, so long as we're clever about it.
I see. And what is your clever solution in this case?
Well, if your only goal is to end negotiations with this guy, I could ask you to marry me instead.
I'm not sure I follow. You would marry me, so I don't have to marry someone else?
To be perfectly clear, I'm not making advances on you or anything. But I'm the heir of House Gautier. If I ask you, this other guy will have no choice but to bow out. Though I doubt he'd be happy about it. After that, you can do whatever you want. Go work at a church, or ladle out soup, or whatever makes you happy. I won't stop you.
But that would prevent you from marrying the person you love.
Okay, look, it's just an idea. You've got lots of options available to you.
You really do know the ways of the world, Sylvain. I've always admired that about you.
The honor of receiving such a compliment from you lifts my feet from the ground. But seriously, let me know if you need any help. I'm always here for you.
It's fine, we're fine. Everything's fine here. Just gonna grab it and run right back out. Good evening, Annette. I am so sorry. I didn't mean to startle you. Oh, Ingrid, it's just you. Sorry about that. Guess I'm a little jumpy right now. Don't worry, it's fine. But if I may, what are you doing out here so late at night? I forgot my book in the mess hall and came back to grab it. What a coincidence.
I was also headed to the mess hall to look for something.
Oh, yay! Then we can go together. Seriously, I'd feel so much better if you were with me.
Not entirely sure why that's the case, but okay.
Oh gosh, it's so dark. Ah! What was that? I think it came from the grass over there.
Probably just another night owl. I wonder if it's...
Annette, stop! You're going to run into that pile of... Ow! Who put these crates here?
Crates. Oh, Annette.
Well, that was quite the ordeal, but we finally made it. Thanks, Ingrid.
I'm glad nobody got hurt, aside from you and those crates. But if I may, Annette, are you afraid of the dark?
Yeah, actually. I've been afraid of it my whole life. I give anything not to be, but I just can't seem to shake it. What about you, Ingrid? Aren't you scared? I mean, a ghost could pop out of anywhere and ghost you.
The dark does not really bother me, no. And as I have never seen a ghost, I'm not afraid of them.
But doesn't it scare you to think about it? I mean, just imagine some icky dead person rising from the earth and coming at you with big, chattery teeth.
Certainly, we had such stories back home in Galatea. My brothers loved to tell them when I was a child. But if they were true, we would not be able to walk to breakfast without bumping into a horde of the dead.
Huh. Yeah, I suppose that's true. But it's still hard to get the idea out of my head.
I personally think it would be wonderful if the dead became ghosts and we could see them again. But when people die, that's it. We can't see or speak to them ever again.
Yeah, when someone dies, they're gone forever. But that's all the more reason to treasure what little time we get, right?
Agreed. We have only one life to live after all.
In that case, I'm gonna walk back all by myself.
Are you sure? We went through quite the struggle just to make it here.
If I want to conquer my fears, I'd better do it while I'm alive. The dark is still pretty terrifying, but I'm gonna push through it.
I could learn a thing or two from her optimism. We only live once.
How long are you going to keep staring blankly like an idiot? You should eat.
You're right. My apologies.
Let me guess, you're in a tizzy about how best to make use of the Church's forces. Or maybe you're just worried about how our forces will survive the winter. Well, knock it off. A good leader knows when to let their vassals do the worrying for them.
Is that why you left your uncle in charge of House Fraldarius?
Yes. Though I've been returning to the territory the moment any issues arise with his governance.
And your mother? Is she in good health? I imagine it's difficult to manage all the family squabbles on her own.
Oh, she's fine. She's good at that sort of thing. I actually think she likes it. I suggest you focus on your own issues for once, instead of worrying about everyone else.
I'm not sure that's possible. Oh, but that does remind me. I hear the Knights wanted to hold a joint training session.
Forget it. You'll never change. I'd tell you to stop brooding so much, but I'd be wasting my breath.
I cannot afford to lose this war, Felix. I must protect the kingdom. I must avenge the fallen. Each day, we draw ever closer to those who pulled the actual strings. I've already punished any who knew of the plan and did nothing, as well as a number of middle-rank conspirators. But it isn't enough. There are still those who must answer for this crime with their lives.
You are a book with one chapter and no ending. What will you do when you actually have this revenge of yours?
I don't know. But if I can quell their grief and their hate, it will be enough. Do you hate me, Felix? After all, I saw Glenn die. I watched it and could do nothing. His end lies on my shoulders.
That's enough. I don't hate you, okay? You weren't responsible for any of that. They didn't die for your sake. They made their own choices of their own free will. Don't be so conceited.
But surely they didn't want to die. Yet they did so to protect me. Me. I am undeserving of such sacrifice.
I told you to quit brooding and eat. Your food's going to rot if you wait any longer.
Yes, of course. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I swear I will avenge you. Please, just wait a little longer. I will uncover who drove you to your deaths, no matter the cost.
Dimitri.
Glenn... Oh, Felix. It's you. I'm sorry you had to see that.
After 20 years, I've seen all of you there is to see. Everyone else is asleep. You know that, right? So why are you locked up here in the chapel? Also, what's with the mumbling?
I suppose there's little sense in hiding it from you. I suffer from a kind of waking dream. I see them. I see the people who died on that day. At all hours, light and dark. If the Empire was involved in that incident, if the Emperor stood by and gave tacit consent, then give to them the same end. Gouge out their hearts and cleave their heads from their shoulders. Those are the words the dead scream at me.
When did this start?
It's been 6 years. But I began hearing their voices 4 years ago, during my first battle. I recognized the enemy general as a man I had seen in Dusker. When I removed his head, the voices cheered. They laughed. It was as if a terrible pain had finally been lifted from them.
I think I get what's happening here. Look, do you really think your father and Glenn and everyone else would be torturing you like that? You're the one who's doing this, Dimitri. Not them. You.
Even if that were true, I can never forgive myself.
Believe me, I know. But it's your job to lead. If you lose your path, you'll take everyone else down with you. So try to keep that whole removing their heads thing in check, yeah? We can just call it our little secret.
Well then, are you offering to let me unburden my heart to you when the time calls for it? You're the only reason I haven't descended into utter savagery, you know. So just as Lug had Kaifon, and my father had Rodrigue, I would ask that you continue to be my right-hand man.
Right-hand man, huh? I like the sound of that.
What are you doing?
As your new right-hand man, my first act is to haul my restless king back to bed where he belongs.
This is absurd. My feet are dragging on the floor.
It's your own fault for being so tall, you sack of muscle.
Say, do you remember how I once carried you in this way when you twisted your ankle?
Yeah, turns out lugging folks around is good training. So just cram it and let me finish my workout already.
Yes, of course. Please, carry on.
Oh, it's so late. I didn't mean to take this much of a detour.
Just getting back?
Hey, Dedue. Hope I didn't worry you.
You didn't. You were in town, yes?
I went to pick up some supplies, but on the way back I saw these flowers blooming, and I just couldn't help but pick some.
Ah, yarrows.
They're used as an ingredient in healing salves, although you can also slap the leaves on your wounds and get mostly the same effect. Oh, and I plan on soaking them in alcohol. It'll produce a liquid that can be used for a wonderful ointment. Though I suppose it would be faster to just use healing magic.
You seem well informed on the subject.
Lonato knew all about it. So I picked up a few things from him.
Lord Lonato had an interest in plants?
Oh sure, he kept tons of botanical encyclopedias and books like that in his room. He loved flowers. He even kept a small herb garden at Castle Gaspar. Hey, you like gardening too, right? I mean, you were always watering the flowers in the greenhouse back at Garreg Mach.
I suppose I do, though I know little of the medicinal properties.
Yeah, I guess knowing how to grow plants is different from knowing how to use them.
Even so, the greenhouse was a treasure to me.
You're right about that. I found flowers there I'd never even seen in Castle Gaspar's garden.
I would like very much to visit this garden of yours one day.
We should go! Of course, a lot has happened since I last saw it, but my younger siblings should still be looking after it.
I look forward to it. Though, how did Lord Lonato come to know so much about medicinal herbs?
He used to serve Grand Duke Rufus, so... maybe he studied them while he was in the capital.
Perhaps.
Sorry, I'm just sitting here chatting away when I should be off making myself useful.
Of course. Medicinal herbs. Ashe, you've come at the perfect time.
Why is that? Oh no, am I interrupting?
Not at all. In fact, I'd like you to try this tea.
Sure. Did you create this blend yourself?
I did. Your talk of medicinal herbs inspired me to study them. I created a number of different brews, thinking I might find one suitable for His Majesty. But first, I would like your opinion on the quality.
Taste testing, is it? I'd be happy to help. Oh, this tastes like...
Yes? How do you find it?
Dedue, what did you use in this?
The same flour you gathered before, mixed with some other herbs, then steamed. I read that doctors in the capital frequently concoct a similar blend. Does it not suit your tastes?
No, I love it. It actually reminds me of something. Of course! This is what Lonato used to give me when he first took me in.
Lord Lonato used to brew this tea?
He sure did. Wow, this really takes me back. I wasn't born into a noble family, so when I started living with Lonato, I had no idea how to act. I was nervous as anything at first, but I'd always calm right down the moment I drank his tea.
I did read that this tea is useful for calming nerves. Perhaps he was trying to make you feel at home.
That sounds like him. I was pretty young at the time, so I never knew what kind of tea it was. But this definitely has the same flavor. Strange to think I've been in the capital for 2 years now and never came upon it again until today. I wonder if Lenato ever served this tea to Grand Duke Rufus.
He never said?
No, I guess the two of them had a falling out a long time ago. He never really talked about his time in the capital. But I think he started studying herbs as a way to help the Grand Duke. Just like you're studying them to aid His Majesty.
It's possible.
Anyway, thank you, Dedue. That really hit the spot. Hey, would you teach me how to brew it sometime? I'd love to let everyone else try it.
Yes, of course.
From the slimy depths of the swamp they rise, great beasties of every shape and size. They dance in a ring and... No, that's not right. Their slime they fling and... Huh? Who's there?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Are you getting in a little choir practice there?
Oh, it's you, Sylvain. Were you listening that whole time?
Pretty much. I must say, that song's super creative. You're the only person I know who could think of something like that.
I feel like you were about to use another word there.
Nope. Great song. Top notch. A+. Are you going to perform it soon?
I was actually gonna sing it for everyone later tonight. I came up with the lyrics and tune myself, and now that I'm finished, I can perform it loud and proud.
And it's a song about swamp beasties. Did I hear that part right?
And what's wrong with swamp beasties?
Nothing in particular. It's just that if you're gonna sing it in front of everyone, maybe it should be, I don't know, relatable? I mean, swamp beasties are so beastie. Ugh. Wouldn't it be better with a puppy or a baby sheep or something cute like that?
I see what you're saying. Cute animals, cute animals. Oh, what about bears? Huge ones.
Yeah, I guess huge bears are better than beasties. I mean, they are pretty cute when they're not trying to tear your face off. Okay, that's good. Except I'm pretty sure bears don't live in swamps. So if you switch it up, it should probably be about giant bears dancing in the woods.
That is the most adorable thing I've ever heard. Are you secretly a professional songwriter, Sylvain?
Absolutely not. In fact, I feel like I should apologize for butting in with ideas when you've clearly been working so hard on this.
Oh, don't apologize. If it helps make it a song everyone will enjoy, I'm all for it. I'm glad we're close enough for you to give your honest opinion.
Well, I've never been one to ignore hardworking girls like you, and I'd love to hear it when it's finished. Wait, what's with the look? Did you come up with the new lyrics already?
Yep. Your suggestions gave me all the inspiration I needed.
Impressive. Why don't you sing it for me?
Of course. I'm sure you'll love it.
From the forest they appear, a sleuth of bears with cute round ears. They dance in a ring and enjoy the beats, but tonight they'll feast on meaty treats.
That actually might be more creepy somehow. But hey, maybe writing weird songs is a talent all of its own. At the very least, they're great at distracting me from real-life worries. Thanks, Annette.
Ugh, goodness, but that is heavy.
Could you grab the feet over there, Mercedes?
Yes, Of course. Give me one moment, please.
Please, don't push yourself if you're tired. I can do it.
Well, we managed to finish. I'm so sorry for leaving the bulk of the work to you.
Do not worry about it. You are always helping me with so many other things. Besides which, I am used to taking care of horses. It barely even feels like work anymore.
I suppose House Galatea is famous for its Pegasus nights.
Yes, though they are costly to care for, so we don't keep many. When I was a child, I often helped my older brothers tend to both our Pegasi and our horses.
I forgot that you have brothers.
Yes, my eldest brother acts as our father's advisor, while the other serves a different family as a knight.
You must have been very close. It's wonderful.
I suppose, though we hardly ever played together, the age gap was just too great. My eldest brother in particular was incredibly strict with me. Whenever I would try to go horseback riding through the hills, he would say, "How dare you do something so dangerous? What if something happened to you?" What's worse, my father agreed with him. It kept me from getting out on too many adventures as a child. Thinking back on it, I understand their concern. I was the only one in the family to bear a crest, after all.
I'm not so certain your crest was the reason for their concern. I think they were worried simply because they love you. You are the youngest, yes? It's only natural for them to want to keep you safe.
Well, it is true we had a mostly good relationship, but I don't know if I'd go that far.
I'm not so sure. They would have treasured you all the same, even if you didn't bear a crest. Even now, I can't help but want to fuss over my little brother, so I know what it means to be an older sibling.
I hear you, but I still don't see the need to be quite so overprotective.
You protest, but I can tell you enjoyed their show of affection. In fact...
Mercedes? What are you doing?
I'm ruffling your hair, since your brothers aren't around to do it.
That is the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. Come, we should get back to work.
Whatever you say.
If you fall, pick yourself back up. An enemy won't wait for you to regain your footing.
Yes, Lady Ingrid.
We've been at this for a while now. Let's take a break.
Hello, all. You seem to be doing fine work with your training today. I brought snacks, so please eat up and restore your energy.
Thank you, Lady Mercedes. I'll go tell the others at once.
That would be wonderful. Oh, and I baked plenty, so there's no need to rush. Dig in, Ingrid. We must remember to treat ourselves once in a while, after all.
Thank you. Oh, these are delicious! Of course, I should have expected no less from you. I have been struggling every day for a way to show these girls my appreciation, yet have come up with nothing. But then you waltz in here and pull it off in one fell swoop. Just look how happy you've made them.
You give me too much credit. Children love anyone who brings them sweets.
Still, they are nothing more than bundles of nerves around me. I'm sure they'd feel at ease if only I was as kind and considerate as you.
Oh, I think you're much more important to them than I. All I do is bring snacks on occasion. You take the time to train them every day without fail. I know the only reason you're so strict is so they're ready for what awaits them on the battlefield. Your lessons are their own form of kindness. I'm certain they recognize that.
You have more confidence than I do.
Then let me ask you a question. Do you hate your older brothers?
What? No, how could I? I mean, naturally, there were times where I resented how hard they were on me, but it was never hate. They were simply looking out for me. I'm proud to call them my brothers.
You see? There are many ways to be kind and considerate.
Huh. I think I understand what you're driving at now.
There's no need to force yourself to be someone you're not. Just be yourself. You're already one of the kindest people I know.
But I'm terrible at encouraging people the way you do.
I don't think that's true. But if it really concerns you, you could try acting more like me.
Say, that's actually not a bad idea. In that case, let me dish out the same treatment you gave me the other day. Prepare yourself, Mercedes. It's time for me to show my affection.
Goodness, where could this possibly be going?
Time certainly does fly, Ashe. Why, it's already been a year and a half since you became a knight. Still, it must be difficult working in such unfamiliar lands. Are you doing well?
Yeah, I'm great. Everyone in the capital has been really nice, honestly. If anything, I guess I'm still just unsure if I have what it takes to be a knight.
Do not give in to doubt. Remember, most knights currently in the service of House Blathed only entered the castle after I became king. You have fought with me for much longer, and so in that sense, you have the advantage.
Sure, but I'm not nobility. I don't even have a crest. So, I want to repay you for appointing me, even if it costs me my life.
I see. Tell me, Ashe, what exactly does knighthood mean to you?
Huh? I'd say knights are loyal to the king, and willing to give their lives to protect the crown and their people. That's right. Right?
That is indeed what many claim a knight should be, but reality is rarely so rosy. Put bluntly, it is the job of a knight to dispense death. The code of chivalry emphasizes loyalty, yes, but this is only to ensure knights remain under the complete control of their lords.
Well, I mean, I guess that's true.
I have no quarrel with your dedicating yourself to such a code, but there is no need to stake your life upon it.
But...
My closest friend was a knight who served the royal family. He was near to my own age, and I admired him greatly. But one day, I watched him die. He stood his ground and fought bravely, but his life was snuffed out in the blink of an eye all the same.
You're talking about Felix's brother, right? I remember Lord Rodrigue mentioning him.
His dying screams echo in my mind to this day. My point, Ashe, is that there may come a time when you must decide between your loyalty and your life. And though I know this to be a selfish request, when that day comes, I want you to choose life.
Even if it means turning my bow against you?
Especially then. If you find yourself unable to follow through, I beg you to leave the battlefield quietly and with all haste. I pray it never comes to that.
Right. I have something to say, though. I don't think that friend who protected you threw his life away because he was a knight. He just wanted to save his best friend.
Even if it meant destroying futures that might have come to pass had he but lived?
Look, I don't know if what he did was right. So if you're asking me not to throw my life away, I promise that I won't. But I don't think it's wrong to fight to the end for someone that you love.
Well put. Perhaps you're right. In any case, I must be off. I have drills I must attend to. After all, I must do everything in my power to be the sort of ruler worthy of such loyalty.
You've done more than enough, Your Majesty. We all respect you to the ends of Fodlan.
Now then, I'd like to hear opinions on the proposed tactics. Personally, I believe it best to gather our forces and attack the stronghold directly, but...
Of course the boar wants to rush in headlong. Using a small force to take out the enemy's base of operations is a far better idea. Do you have something to say? Or are you just going to stand there glaring at me?
I have nothing to add, no.
So you're saying you have no thoughts on it whatsoever? You don't even agree or disagree? Just purely, blissfully neutral?
Enough, Felix. Leave Dedue be and tell me more about this idea of yours.
We don't need to kick down the front door here. Sneaking in with a small force and burning their food stores will be more than enough.
Interesting. We'd miss a chance to loot their supplies, but it would free up our main force for other matters. And still, it won't be easy to slip past their patrols. I'd best take my personal troops and...
Allow me to take on the role. I trust that'll be satisfactory.
Right then. Now that we've solidified our strategy, let's break for a bit.
Okay, what is your problem? You've been giving me that look ever since we came in here. You clearly have something on your mind, so spit it out.
It's good to have you with us.
Huh?
Few can debate His Majesty without hesitation or ill intent. Our war council proceeded smoothly as a result.
You make me sound like some kind of troublemaker. I don't disagree just for the thrill of it, you know.
You don't say.
Dimitri's always had a reckless streak. Who knows what kind of mess he'd drag us into if someone wasn't around to stop him. The guy would gladly throw his life away for someone else, given half the chance.
You have a point.
His death would mean the destruction of both Fargus and the Church. So when I try to protect him, what I'm really doing is protecting the kingdom.
Spoken like the shield of Fargus.
What's with a smile? I told you, if you've got something to say, just say it.
I know you spoke up for my sake as well. I'm grateful for it.
Yeah, well, just doing what's expected. I mean, we're, you know, brothers in arms and all that.
Apologies for the wait. I trust we're ready to reconvene? You two seem to be having a lively discussion. May I ask what it was about?
Of course, Your Majesty. Felix was just saying...
I was saying how much of a fool you are. And now come. We have more important things to discuss.
That was quite the sigh. What's the matter, Sylvain?
Oh, nothing. Well, except there's a guy in my unit who keeps acting up, and I'm not sure what to do.
You don't say.
I don't think I like the face you're making.
Let me ask, just to be sure. Is this mysterious troublemaker in fact you?
Hey, I've changed. I swear I have. But no, it's not me. It's one of my knights. He keeps walking around breaking stuff and getting into fights, and I'm spending all my time apologizing for it.
So you finally understand how I felt. You know, I never thought this day would come. You really have changed, Sylvain. Perhaps this warrants a celebration.
Then you better bring your purse because I'm ordering 2 of everything. Seriously, Ingrid, you don't have to sound that impressed. With school suspended and the war raging, we've all had to adapt to changing circumstances. Felix and Dimitri both succeeded their fathers, and are now burning the candle at both ends, right? I can't go around causing trouble with unending scandals when I'm supposed to be the mature one of the bunch.
It is wonderful to see you turn a new leaf.
I told you to stop sounding so impressed. Ugh, I suppose I had this coming.
I am sorry, Sylvain. I was only teasing. Think of it as payback for everything you put me through. Still, not having to clean up after you has been a real weight lifted from my shoulders.
Yeah, I was a handful in my wild days, but looking back, I really appreciate everything you did for me.
In that case, you should make the change permanent so you never cause trouble for anyone again. Though, honestly, I do not really know what to do with myself now that I am not spending all my time apologizing for you. Frankly, I was convinced you were useless without me.
Sorry. Again.
Please, no. You gave me experience I'd never have gotten otherwise. If I were truly miserable, I would have abandoned you to the wolves long ago. Besides, it wasn't all bad. You were the one who finally coaxed me from my room after Glenn's death, remember?
Okay, I'm confused. Do you want me to go back to being a huge flirt, or...?
Don't be ridiculous.
Figured.
As you said, we have all had to adapt to changing circumstances, which means we cannot cling to the past forever. You and I are no exception. It is merely a touch sad to come to the realization.
What's the matter, Ingrid? You sound exhausted.
Oh, it is just that my father's work never ends. Writing battle reports, explaining our Pegasus maintenance costs. There's always something that needs doing. I'm impressed that you, Felix, and His Majesty managed to stay on top of it all.
Are you sure you're okay, Ingrid? It isn't like you to be so worried.
Perhaps I'm simply not suited for desk work. I sound pathetic.
Well, that's my cue to pitch in and help out, by treating a lovely lady to a fine meal.
I thought you'd sworn off such flirtatious nonsense.
Can't you just accept a generous offer for once instead of immediately disparaging the giver?
Maybe you're right. In that case, I accept. I reached a good stopping point anyway, so I may as well eat on your coin. Phew. It has been some time since I've eaten this much. I've been so busy lately, my meals have consisted of whatever quick snack I can scrounge up in the moment.
Well, that makes the incredibly hefty bill worth it. Also, it's been a while since I've been able to watch you eat. I think I kind of missed it.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Sorry, that came out all wrong. What I meant to say was that it's a relief to finally see you enjoy a decent meal. I mean, we're basically family, you know? And I'm sure Felix and Dimitri would feel the same way.
Is that so?
When we were talking earlier, you said something about how a person can't cling to the past forever. Well, I think that's why it makes us so happy when we realize some things never change.
Some things never change, huh? Hold on. That means you were still gawking at me as I ate.
Yeah, but can you blame me? You are a fascinating eater. I mean, you're normally really serious, but when you eat, it's like your entire face lights up.
Do you even hear yourself? Yes, well, speaking of things that never change, I thought of an even more important one.
What's that?
Our friendship. The way we're there for each other through thick and thin. Even if our relationship changes, we will always hold each other dear.
Okay, that line is way too cheesy. Who taught you to say that? What rogues have you been hanging out with?
Stop complaining and come with me. I want to buy some treats for everyone.
I'd follow you to the ends of the earth, my lady.
What are you doing up so late, Mercy?
I was having trouble sleeping. You too, Annie?
Yup. I'm just so nervous about our battle tomorrow.
Perhaps we should chat for a while to ease our nerves.
That's a great idea. It reminds me of when we were students at the School of Sorcery in Verdiad.
When we shared a room and would stay up chattering until dawn?
Exactly. It feels like that was forever ago.
So much has happened in the meantime. We enrolled in the Officers' Academy, the war began.
But we've stuck together through it all, even after classes were suspended. Of course, I'm so clumsy I felt like I was always getting in people's way while we were there. I couldn't have gotten through all this without you by my side.
And I've relied on you just as much. In fact, it often feels like you're the one who's constantly coming to my aid lately. Remember when I got stuck in that bandit's trap? I thought I was done for, but you came to my rescue.
Well, I wasn't gonna leave you in a bandit trap. Although, I just ended up falling right in and getting wounded myself. I was so desperate to save you, I wasn't paying attention to what was around me. If not for you healing me, I don't know what would have happened.
Well, we worked together and made it back in one piece, so all's well that ends well.
You know, I think we've always been like this. I feel like I can overcome anything so long as I'm with you.
And I feel the same. I hope we will be friends forever.
Oh, for sure! We'll be best friends until we're a couple of wrinkled old grannies. There are so many things I want to do with you, and so many places I want to go. I don't care if we're strolling through Dedue or just window shopping. Everything's better with you.
I would love to go shopping in the capital, and then later... Say, Annie, why don't we wait to talk about this until the war is over?
What? Why?
Because then we can each write down things we want to do as we think of them, and then show our list to each other afterward. Doesn't that sound fun?
That sounds very fun. We can even compete to see who has the longest list. I'm gonna scribble all my plans down as soon as I get back to my room so I don't forget.
But won't that keep you up longer?
Oh, right. My insomnia. You were so busy chatting, I forgot all about it. Thanks, Mercy. I feel a lot better now.
My sentiments exactly. Good night, Annie. I'll see you tomorrow.
Ah, Sylvain. I was hoping to ask your opinion on our recent meeting.
Hey, I'm always happy to talk. But if you want House Gautier's take, shouldn't you ask my father?
I don't want House Gautier's opinion. I want yours.
Okay. Well, we were talking about the pros and cons of incorporating commoners in the nobility, right? Seems to me like we got it all sorted out.
Yes. The discussion primarily revolved around a single point. Whether those without crests are actually worthy of entering the nobility.
I mean, if they're up to the challenge, I don't see why not. It's like how you promoted my brother, right? Skill is what matters in the end.
Indeed. And the performances of Ashe and the commander serve as proof of such.
Just don't get carried away, you know? Too much of a good thing and all that. I'm sure you realize what would happen to the kingdom if we lost the power of crests.
Naturally. However, crest bloodlines are currently fading everywhere. People such as Felix who were born with major crests are the exception in this day and age.
Which means Fargus has two options if we want to retain our power. One, we bolster our military and promote prosperity while delicately letting the bloodline dance play out. Or two, we admit bloodlines won't last forever and create a social system that doesn't rely on inheritance. Neither one would hold up for long, but if I had to choose, I guess the first option would be the better one for the kingdom on the whole.
Bolstering our military is more easily said than done. Impoverished as our land is, it will be difficult to compete with regions of more fertile ground.
Hey, do you remember what I said when you talked to me about promoting my brother? I told you it was important to keep up appearances while we were in the middle of a war. And honestly, I don't have any real objection to the way you're running things now.
Thank you, Sylvain. I knew you would help me sort things out in my head.
I don't usually get into serious stuff like this, but I'm glad I could help.
Such topics are not beyond your grasp, though. Your complete sincerity is a great strength. That said, you never show that side of you to any but Felix and myself. Although, I must admit, you were far from sincere during our academy days.
Ugh, don't remind me. Just thinking about it makes me cringe.
If you see the error of your ways, it is not too late to mend them. Or perhaps you require one of my lectures like old times?
Pass. You know I've got them all memorized anyway.
I do hope you realize how much I rely on you, Sylvain. You have so many things I lack. You're clever and quick-witted like your father, yet...
Yeah, well, I've been jealous of your strength ever since we were kids.
None of us are perfect, so let us dwell no longer on our failings. I apologize for taking up so much of your time, though I hope to have similar discussions in the future.
I'm looking forward to it. Glad I can always speak my mind around you.
Me! Teach me how to cook next.
All right. I will teach you a special recipe that is certain to delight everyone back at the church.
His Majesty is looking for you, Mercedes.
Goodness, whatever was that about?
My apologies. I have a tendency to frighten animals and children. Perhaps it's my imposing stature, or perhaps it's because I'm from Duscur.
I doubt animals know anything about the tragedy of Duscur, Dedue. Still, I think I may know how to solve this little problem of yours.
Oh?
You see, many of the children here have lost homes and families. They tend to be a fearful bunch. And as a large man who is also unnaturally quiet, you cut a doubly scary figure. So all we have to do is show them how not scary you are.
And how do we do that?
Come back tomorrow. I'll have it all worked out by then.
Very well. Done. Here's your flower crown.
Wow, mister. You're just as amazing as Miss Mercedes.
Yeah, this is the prettiest flower crown I've ever seen.
It's like an actual royal crown. Well, make one for me. Please, please, please.
I could, though it would be better to learn how to make your own.
Oh, but my crowns always look all... yeah.
Anyone can do it with enough practice. Well, perhaps not anyone. But if you find it difficult, you can always ask a friend for help.
Fine, I'll try. So how do I start?
Twist the stem there and wrap it once, but gently.
Well, how did it go? They certainly looked at ease around you.
They were indeed, and I owe it all to you.
All I did was brag to them about the magnificent flower crown you made for me.
How very clever.
Oh, please, I barely did a thing. It was your kindness that won them over.
You were the kind one, Mercedes. Thank you.
Miss Mercedes! Mr. Dedue! Look how far I am!
Oh, that's wonderful. Might you teach me how to make one as well, Mr. Dedue?
It would be my pleasure, Miss Mercedes.
My apologies, Felix. Am I getting in the way of your work?
No, I just finished up. What do you need?
I picked this up on the training grounds. I think it might be yours.
Hey, that's my brother's spur. I thought I'd lost it.
I ran around asking all the knights who it belonged to. The royal crest made it seem important. You really should take better care of it. Didn't Glenn receive this as a gift from the late king?
Yup.
Don't shrug me off like that. I am surprised. You never struck me as the type to keep such a memento with you.
Guess I thought it might come in handy someday.
Whatever you say. Just make sure you don't misplace it again.
Ingrid. Wait,
Yes?
you should have it.
Excuse me? Absolutely not. I could never accept something so precious.
When my brother was appointed by the king, who do you think he told first? It wasn't me or my father. It was you. So take it.
But
If you want the truth, I always planned to give it to you anyway. I just never found the right time.
Well, if you insist, then I accept. Thank you, Felix.
But don't get the wrong idea. I'm not doing this so you can go drown yourself in grief.
Oh, I am very much aware. I know full well how much you detest such displays of sentimentality. I should get going. I have a meeting to attend. Farewell, Felix.
Finished giving your report?
Yes. I hope you were not waiting too long. Did you need me for something?
Need is a strong word. I just wanted to commend you. I heard that last fight was brutal, but you made it out alive.
None of us expected it to evolve into such an arduous battle. We were only supposed to be dealing with some bandits.
So you weren't injured?
I'm fine. So is everyone else in the unit, thankfully. Though even in the darkest moments, I never lost hope. All thanks to this.
My brother's spur? You're telling me that hunk of steel helped you?
Perhaps not in a practical sense, but it certainly bolstered my spirits. This spur symbolizes Glenn's pride and sense of duty, things he fought for to his dying breath. I couldn't very well give up while I carried something with that much meaning. It gave me the courage to keep fighting.
I don't get it. It's all well and good to remember the dead, but sentimentality will get you killed. All the tears in the world couldn't bring them back after all.
You have always viewed the world in such stark terms. It might even be one of your strengths. But one day, you will learn that emotions and sentimentality are also a strength, not a curse.
So the dead can help the living? Interesting idea.
Can we continue this later? I think I have earned a good night's sleep.
Ingrid, wait. Will you do something for me?
I'm listening.
Go visit my brother. This war shows no signs of stopping, which means you have plenty of battles ahead of you. And if you're so certain the dead can help the living, it couldn't hurt to offer him some flowers.
You want me to go to Glenn's? I mean, of course. But you should join me, and perhaps His Majesty as well. And even Lord Rodrigue, Sylvain, Sir Gustav, everyone.
Are you planning to host an entire banquet at his gravestone?
That was not my original intention, but now that you mention it, a festive meal might be nice. We could all use a little relaxation, and Glenn always preferred a joyous atmosphere to a somber one.
Fine, just don't die before then, okay? Anyway, I'm keeping you. Go get something to eat and get some rest.
I will do just that. Thank you, Felix.
What lovely weather. Morning walks really are the best. Is that Ashe? I thought it was you. What are you doing out and about so early?
Morning, Annette. I've been teaching some of the townspeople how to read and write, as well as some basic math skills. We were all so into it, we didn't notice the time slipping away, and now... it's suddenly morning.
Wow, that's so good of you, Ashe. What made you decide to do that?
When I went into town earlier, I found a merchant selling medicine at outrageous prices. But people were all snapping it up without even questioning it. Well, I couldn't just stand by and watch it happen. So I called a couple folks over to show them the math. A few more people came over, and then a few more. And before I knew it, I found myself becoming their teacher.
That is so you. But seriously, I think it's amazing. If you ever decide to break out the chalk again, I'd love to help. You can handle reading and math and stuff, and I'll teach him magic and history.
Really? That would be great. I enjoy studying a lot, but I don't think I'm very good at actually instructing people.
Well, they are two completely different things. Speaking of which, didn't Lord Lenato teach you your letters and numbers?
Yes, although my father showed me some basic arithmetic as well. Lenato always used to say that study is the path to one's own morality.
What does that mean?
Well, there's no universal rules for what's right and what's wrong, you know? So you have to find your own morality, something you can believe in and stick to, no matter what. He also said a person needs knowledge and education to make that happen.
I suppose knowledge does grant the power to make sound judgments. I mean, I saw everything differently once I started attending the School of Sorcery and the Officers' Academy.
Most of the people here lack the means to attend such institutions, but they still contend with danger and lies on a daily basis. I want to give them the tools to see their way clear of that. So, I guess that's why I'm teaching them. I want to meet them as an equal, not as a Knight of Farkas, but as someone who knows exactly what they're going through.
That's incredible, Ashe. I think I could learn a thing or two from you, too. Hey, Ashe, listen to this!
What's got you so excited, Annette?
Remember Odette, the flower peddler we taught how to read and write? Well, apparently, the School of Sorcery thought she had talent, and they accepted her as a student.
Wow, that's impressive. The School of Sorcery isn't easy to get into.
Right? I'm so glad we took the time to teach everyone.
It's strange to think that someone I helped is going to study under those teachers. Strange, but also great.
Speaking of the teachers, there's something I need to tell you. I had another reason for wanting to help you instruct the villagers.
Oh? What's that?
When I was younger, I wanted to be a teacher at the School of Sorcery. It didn't even have to be that school necessarily. I just wanted to make a living as an instructor somewhere. And when I started teaching some of the townspeople here with you, it was so much fun.
You did seem to be enjoying yourself.
I know, right? My favorite part was when someone would have that aha moment and their face would just light up. It really made all the time I'd spent studying feel worth it.
You're a great teacher, Annette. I think it's your calling, honestly. I've never seen anyone so patient with people when they're struggling to understand. If you ask me, you should become a full-fledged professor. I'd love to study under an instructor like you.
Oh gosh, you're making me blush. But if you really think that, then I'm gonna go for it. But that means I need to hit the books. Oh, and probably chat with some of the teachers at the School of Sorcery.
If there's anything I can do to help, just let me know.
No way, mister. You have your own dream to pursue. I mean, you want to become a world-renowned knight, right?
Well, sure. But you've helped me so much, I feel like I need to return the favor. Besides, you're a citizen of Fargus, and it's a knight's job to help the people.
I love how focused you are on that dream. It's almost silly, because you're already the greatest knight I know. Okay, I'm off to borrow some books from the capital, but maybe I'll ask for your help after that. Oh, and if we ever get the chance, I'd love to visit Garrick Mock's library. If you wouldn't mind going with me, that is.
You can count on me.
Thanks. Just you watch, Ashe. I'll be a real professor before you know it.
Ah, Mercedes. Did you go out?
Yes, I went to the town of Camulus to help the church.
I see. And how did you find it?
The townspeople seemed fine enough, but the clergy were very busy. As you know, lots of people fled to Fargus when the war started. And while a number of towns took in refugees, Camulus is particularly busy on that front.
In that case, I should send reinforcements and resources from the capital. I will speak with Lady Rhea about this presently.
Thank you, Dimitri. I'm sure the clergy will be pleased to hear it. I'm incredibly grateful to you for coming to the church's aid, you know. Most of those people would have ended up homeless if not for your actions.
As I recall, you fled from the Empire yourself at a rather young age.
Yes, and it was awful. We had nothing to eat and nowhere to shelter from the wind and rain. If not for the priest who helped us, I don't know what would have happened. Are you all right, Dimitri? You seem sad.
My apologies, Mercedes. But may I speak plainly?
You don't need my permission to do that, silly. What's troubling you?
I have been wondering for some time if accepting the Central Church was the correct decision. By giving them shelter, I have also given the Empire the perfect excuse for invasion.
You took them in because you thought it was the right thing to do. Isn't that so?
Yes. The Church of Seiros is deeply entwined with the kingdom's history and politics. The Crown's authority is granted by the Church, which also takes part in governing our villages. Were I to sunder that connection, nobles and commoners alike would be furious. The kingdom would be split anew, and chaos would reign.
That is a tough one. It seems like you're going to end up with a fight no matter what you do. Well, at the very least, I know the townspeople are grateful. But I also know it's not as simple as all that. I'm sorry. That probably didn't do much to help ease your concerns.
No. I should apologize for making you listen as I prattle on endlessly.
Oh, nonsense. If it helped you in any way, I'm glad to do it.
Well, I certainly do feel better. Thank you, Mercedes. And please know that I am here for you for whatever reason, no matter how small. Is it much further, Mercedes? We'll likely need to rest soon.
We're just about there. See? It's right over that hill.
I had no idea there was a village here.
Actually, I used to live in this village once upon a time. You can see the church where I stayed in the distance.
It is a place of stunning beauty and quiet. It almost feels like coming home somehow.
Oh, Mercedes! It's been so long! Come to visit your mother, have you?
It has been a while, hasn't it? And no, I'm mostly here to show my friend around.
My, what a handsome young man! Are you with the Knights of Seros?
What? Oh, no. I'm the kingdom's... I'm a member of their army.
You don't say. Guess that means you work closely with our Mercedes here. Well, if you've got the time, go pop into the church. I'm sure the priest and little ones will be delighted to see you.
Absolutely. Also, I do want to say hello to Mother, since we've come all this way.
I always find it nerve-wracking to meet friends of friends.
Oh, she's harmless. She works over at the church. My mother and I owe her a lot. There are many people there who share similar circumstances to our own. Too many, I'm afraid. Still, the priest accepts anyone and everyone who comes to him for aid.
Such open-mindedness is rare in these times. I wonder if it's because of the church's teachings.
You know, this village would look very different had you not accepted the central church.
Well, I've heard the most unpleasant rumors about the southern church, and I don't know how to govern all these villages myself.
I realize you know far more than me when it comes to things like politics and war. But I still thought it was important for you to see what you're protecting with your own eyes.
Which is why you insisted I accompany you. To be honest, I have no idea how the war will change Fodlan. But I will do everything in my power to protect this place, and all others like it.
Thank you, Dimitri. Let's head on over to the church. There are some wonderful views on the way there. There are fields of flowers, beautiful brooks. Goodness, so many things I want to show you. Oh, and I need to say hello to my mother and the priest while we're at the church.
I suppose I should give them my regards as well. Considering I hold your life in my hands as your commanding officer.
My, you're so nervous. Perhaps you should let me handle the introductions. I'll just tell them you're someone very important to me.
Wait, Mercedes. That may lead to some untoward conclusions.
Sorry, it was just a joke, I promise. I didn't mean to fluster you. Still, I much prefer this Dimitri to the scowly one I always seem to see.
You are a master of catching me off balance, Mercedes.
I'll figure something out, I promise. Just write to your father, okay?
I will.
Hey there, Dedue. Can I help you with something?
No, just passing by.
You sure? Looks like you really want to say something.
I was touched by your interaction with that woman.
What's that supposed to mean?
During our academy days, I often heard untoward rumors about you. You had a tendency to skip training and a certain reputation concerning women. You caused His Majesty all manner of headaches.
I can't deny that. But that's all in the past. I'm a lot more responsible these days, don't you think?
Don't expect praise for merely doing your job.
Right.
Though I have been curious about what caused this change of heart.
Change of heart might be taking it a bit too far. It's just, I always see how Dimitri and Felix are out there doing all these amazing things. So I can't very well be goofing around when they're off making names for themselves. Call it a sibling rivalry.
Sibling rivalry?
They're like brothers to me, which is exactly why I don't want them looking down on me.
I see. I understand how you feel. I had a younger sister.
Had? Oh. Tell me about her. What was she like?
She loved flowers, and often made crowns out of them. And once she set her mind to something, nothing in the world could change it.
Aw, she sounds sweet. And a little intimidating.
You cannot flirt with the dead, try as you might.
Whoa, hold on. I was just being honest. I'm sorry I never got the chance to meet her. I mean, if her protective older brother didn't kick me into next week first.
I may just have done so. Sylvain, you should visit Dusker after this war is over. My sister's grave is there. It's nothing special, but I would like to show it to you sometime.
I would love to, my friend. And I'll make sure to bring a giant bouquet of flowers with me.
She would like that, very much.
Annette, how does that song about the dancing swamp beasties end?
It wasn't swamp beasties, it was bears. A song about dancing swamp beasties wouldn't be nearly as cute.
It was supposed to be cute? Anyway, I'd never heard a song like that before, and now I can't get it out of my head.
Wait, really? Wow, I'm flattered. But it's not like I can make up the rest of it on the spot. Why don't you go see an opera or something? Get a better song stuck up in there.
Yeah, I don't know. Guess I've been interested in seeing an opera in the past, but I've never gone.
Now that you mention it, I don't know if they even perform opera in Fargus. But the church is in Camulus now, and they have volunteers who put on operas every now and then. I've been helping Dorothea and the others there, and it's really expanded my repertoire of songs.
Well then, sing one for me. Just belt out whatever pops into your head.
You got it. I'll sing you my favorite. Me, me, me. A shimmering life burns down to ash. Then since I'm all hot and sweaty, I hop in the bath. Soon I get real dizzy, which puts me in a tizzy. But eventually I feel way, 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 way better. So I decide to hop back in the bath again. Whew.
Huh. You take baths when you're already hot? That's some impressive fortitude. I think I underestimated you.
Oh.
Wait, but then you get back in the bath even though it made you dizzy. You must seriously love bathing. Well, this has been fascinating. I had no idea operas could have such unexpected developments.
Operas aren't like that at all. That's just an aria I learned a long time ago, and I don't even really remember the words. It wasn't supposed to be a song about taking a bath. It was supposed to be serious.
Wait, really? That's much less interesting.
No, you don't... Look, a real opera is much better, all right? I'll take you to one sometime, and you'll see. It'll take your breath away when you hear it. I bet you'll fall head over heels in love.
Fine. But let's save it until the war is over. If it's really that good, I want to make sure I give it my full attention.
Then we're definitely going to see an opera. It's a promise.
What's wrong, Ingrid? You look troubled.
Oh no, it is nothing. Don't worry about it.
It has to be something if you're just standing there staring off into space. You can always talk to me, you know. I might not be much help, but...
It's this land. It is so fertile. I cannot help but be amazed.
It is an unusually bountiful region for Fargus, and a beautiful one at that. It doesn't have nearly as much snow as the north, and multiple rivers flow through it. I could scarce take my eyes off of that wheat field we passed earlier.
My home does not have anything as lovely as that. It's nothing but a barren, rocky wasteland, and the soil we do have is so poor even the weeds disdain it. We have tilled the ground, removed rocks, and sowed seeds in hopes that our descendants might one day benefit, but... well, who knows how long it would take for us to have large, fruitful fields like the ones here.
Our blood, sweat, and tears will drench the land, serving as nourishment for those who come long after. You may not accomplish it in your lifetime, but the effort will definitely pay off down the road. Or, that's what I think, at least.
Those are the words of King Lugh, yes? From Lugh and the Maiden of Wind. That is one of my favorites.
Yeah, hearing you talk about your homeland actually reminded me of another part. At one point, it uses the phrase, barren as the land of Dagda. I'm sure it's just some term the poets created long after Lugh, but it got me curious. So I went and tracked down a travel journal about Dagda.
I haven't read many travel journals. What did it say?
It spoke of a crop that grew easily, even in their infertile soil. Apparently it's really filling, and tastes amazing when boiled or baked.
It sounds too good to be true. Like a crop out of a fairy tale.
If only I knew what it was called. Shamir might be able to tell you more about it.
My homeland would greatly benefit from cultivating a plant like that.
I can't say for certain if it'll actually grow there, but it's probably worth looking into. If there's any way I can help, just say the word.
I am sure a royal knight has better things to do than worry about the problems of House Galatea.
This isn't about my station. I'm just a pal lending a hand. Besides, I grew up poor. I know what it's like to go hungry. No one should ever have to experience that.
Thank you, Ashe. In that case, our first task is to look deeper into this miracle crop of yours. I wish we could wait until this war is over, but that would take too long. I want to learn all I can about it as soon as possible. Oh, this is so exciting.
Agreed. Now we just have to survive long enough to uncover its secrets.
Your Majesty, about tomorrow's drills. Apologies. I did not mean to interrupt.
It's fine, Ingrid. We had just finished.
That was the leader of the Dusker forces, yes? What were you talking about?
We were discussing various tactics and formations. We must be aligned if we're to fight together. The way Dusker soldiers operate is quite different from our knights. I must also be mindful of how I deploy them to avoid undue conflict.
Yes, I hear there have already been a number of small quarrels in the encampment.
It's not a problem easily solved. I'm sure each side finds it difficult to adjust to the other. And you, Ingrid. Do you still hate the people of Dusker?
I no longer have reason to hold on to that hate. Yes, a few of them were involved in the tragedy, but I cannot blame the rest for that. There were many other forces at work. I understand that now. Yet I used to focus all my negative feelings on the people of Dusker, and for that I am ashamed. In a way, I now find myself scared of interacting with them at all.
You needn't blame yourself. The fault lies with me for not speaking to you about it more 6 years ago. I hesitated because I didn't wish to confuse the matter, not knowing the full truth of it. But you were forced to grapple with many painful feelings as a result. Clearly, my priorities were not in order.
You had enough to deal with 6 years ago. So many knights were expelled from the castle, and almost none but Lord Rodrigue would set foot in the capital. Even my father prevented me from going to see you.
Yet, I still could have sought you out. And I had countless chances to discuss the matter at the academy.
I do not think I would have taken it well even if you had. I was convinced that Glenn died saving you from irredeemable villains. I forced myself to believe that. If I hadn't, I fear I may have gone mad.
I was in a similar position. But once I finally opened the lid on that box, I realized just how many were involved, including members of our own kingdom. In the end, I knew I had to reconcile with reality.
And I must also accept the reality that stands before me now. We are allied with the people of Dusker, which means I can no longer avoid them.
I have an idea. It may not help, but I'd like to take you somewhere. The father of that man I was speaking with earlier opened an inn last year, and it's not far. Would you care to join me there for a meal? Word has it he's quite skilled at making all manner of food. Of course, if this is all too much and too soon, I understand.
Not at all. I would love to accompany you. Though it shames me to admit it, I likely lack the courage to go alone. But with you at my side, I think I can take that first step.
In that case, let us make haste. Oh, and this will be my treat, so keep your pocketbook shut tight.
Oh, how do I even...
Annette, what are you doing?
Oh, Dedue! Perfect timing. Got a sec? So, here's my problem. I'm not entirely sure how to... use this thing.
That is a hero's relic, yes?
Yep, it's called Crusher. I know, pretty intimidating. It used to belong to my uncle. But it's really, really heavy. Just lugging it around tires me out like nothing else. Plus, whenever I swing the thing, I feel like it's gonna take me right along with it.
It does look heavy, yes. Even without its power as a relic, no armor could possibly stand against such weight.
Sounds Sounds like I need to build up some muscle then. That's probably gonna take a while, huh? Too bad I'm not already as big and tall as you.
You might not be able to change your stature, but physique isn't everything.
You know, I think I've heard my father say the same thing. And if that's the case, I'd like to try a few things. Have time to help?
Very well.
Thanks! Though, on second thought, I probably shouldn't go around swinging a relic at you.
I often do my training with a large bag of rocks.
That could work.
Use your entire body, Annette. If you only use your arms, you'll be sent spinning.
Okay, like this?
Yeah!
Exactly.
Whew, what a workout. Still, I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of it. Thanks, Dedue. You're a lifesaver.
Glad to be of service.
I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to wield something like a hero's relic. But you gave me the motivation to try. I'm gonna use this puppy to keep everyone safe. Just you watch.
Yes, I'm sure you will.
Huh? Dedue, what are you doing here?
Oh, Annette, I was training.
Wow, do you ever take a break? 'Cause you should. It's almost dinner time.
I don't plan to stop yet. I'm still not strong enough.
Not strong? You mean with your axe? Come on, you're plenty good at swinging that guy around.
No. I must make up for my inability to wield a hero's relic. You, Felix, and the others are all able to make use of their immense power. I know I can never rise to that level, but if I could somehow close the gap... To be honest, I'm envious. Envious of your ability to wield such a powerful instrument.
Oh, I don't think I've ever heard you open up like that before.
I apologize. Please forget I said anything.
No, I'm happy you told me. I feel closer to you now. Anyway, I think you're really strong already. I don't know what we'd do without you.
Truly?
Yeah, you're invaluable with or without a relic. Crests and relics are only useful on the battlefield anyway. But you can cook and sew and do all kinds of helpful stuff. Meanwhile, I'm pretty much just 9 thumbs and a toe. Plus, you swing around that heavy axe like it's nothing. So I mean it, Dedue. You're amazing.
We each have something the other lacks.
Exactly. Besides, maybe it's a good thing that you can't use a relic. If you could, you'd be too good and the rest of us would just be getting in your way all the time. Training is fine and dandy, but don't be so hard on yourself, okay?
You're strong in your own way, Annette. Your optimism is infectious. It aids not only me, but everyone else as well.
Aw, you're making me blush. Still, I guess being positive sort of is one of my special talents, huh? And if it managed to help you even a little, that's enough for me. Anyway, I made dinner today, so let's head back and start feasting. It'll be yummy, promise. I mean, I did manage to make the bottom of the pot fall out, so things got a little hairy there for a second, but it smells great.
The bottom... fell out?
Yeah, but it turned out amazing, I swear. I can't wait for you to try some.
How did you manage to... Never mind. Let's eat before it grows cold.
Mercedes. Good. I need your help.
Felix? Why do you have a cat?
picked it up?
Yes, I can see that, but... Oh no! Its little leg is hurt! Here, let me have it. I may be able to heal it with magic. There. It should be fine now.
Thanks. Sorry for the trouble.
Oh, it's no trouble at all. Though I must admit, you're the last person I expected to bring me an injured kitten. It reminds me of how my little brother once took in a cat when we were young.
Would that little brother of yours be Professor Yaritza?
Yes. This was a long time ago, when we both still lived with House Bartels. My brother took in an injured cat, and after it healed, it began living in the mansion. We did our best to feed it secretly so it wouldn't be discovered.
Secretly? What's the big deal with one little furball?
We couldn't let anyone find out, no matter what. The people in that house were horrid. Had they learned of the cat, they would have put it in a sack and tossed it in the river. Eventually, my mother and I left House Bartels and never looked back, though we left my brother behind. Still, I've always wondered what happened to that poor little cat.
Animals are smart enough. If the thing felt threatened, it would have taken off.
I suppose you're right.
Anyway, now that you've fixed the cat, I should bring it back to where I found it.
Are you sure? It's clearly taken a shine to you.
Yeah, but I can't keep it. The thing's practically a kitten. What if it has parents that, I don't know, miss it?
Yes, I suppose returning it would be best.
All right, go. Shoo! Come on, get out of here already. Stop rubbing my legs. What is it? You want food? Well, I don't have any.
Ah, that cat really likes him. Animals clearly understand when a kind soul comes to their aid.
Mercedes, do something. This cat won't stop following me.
I'm sorry, but there isn't anything I can do. You'll have to wait until it feels like going home. Goodness, really? Having a cat like you is a good thing. My little brother has always loved cats, but recently they won't come near him, and it just breaks his heart.
I do not understand that man, but regardless, that's not the issue.
Well, so long as you're stuck waiting, we may as well get comfortable and have a nice chat.
You're really eyeballing that giant stack of documents there, Ashe. Let me see what you've got. Records of military drills, archives of city taxes. You know, if you're searching for a particular needle in this load of hay, I can help you out.
Oh, I'm not looking for anything specific. I just thought they'd be good to study.
You're going to study all this?
Yeah. With the academy closed, I haven't had a chance to focus on learning lately. So, I thought I could give my brain a nice workout by reading old records and archives.
Hey, good for you taking the initiative. If it weren't for all this fighting, you and me would be living the schoolboy's dream right about now.
Right? We could be training together, taking classes on history and magic.
And when the ethereal moon comes, we'd go dancing with all the girls at the ball.
That's not quite what I had in mind.
So, are those records actually helping you?
Yeah. The ones on old military drills are especially interesting. It's fun just looking at them.
Just looking, huh? You might want to read a little deeper there. I mean, take this one for example. It talks about how the 3 northern houses held a joint exercise in 1166. And apparently they did so in the middle of a raging blizzard. It was so bad that some of their soldiers died, but they went ahead and did it anyway. Any idea why?
Drills in the snow in 1166. Oh! Were they trying to prepare for a confrontation with Shrang?
Nailed it. They were training for the northern conquest they carried out a few years later. In other words, they'd already decided to try and take the north by 1166. So, if you look at the other drills during that time, you might be able to piece together what the late king was thinking.
Interesting. You know, another document did mention an exercise conducted in Guinevere.
Because they'd already predicted that Shrang forces would cross the mountains, which meant battling in harsh desert terrain.
And that's why they were forbidden from using horses during that drill. It's amazing how you really start to see the bigger picture when you dig into details like that.
And that's why keeping records is so important. Anyway, I've probably bothered you long enough.
No, wait, teach me more. I mean, if you have time.
If you really want to learn, you're better off asking an actual professor type. I'm just, Sylvain.
No, you're a great teacher, and I can always ask them things when we're in the capital, but they won't be around when we're on the march. I just want to learn more so I don't embarrass the other knights. Please?
No, not the puppy dog eyes. Oh, fine, I'll help. But don't expect too much.
So, by stationing themselves in the bog, they were able to slow the advance of the enemy horses.
Exactly. But Lug's army was prepared in other ways too. They dug pitfalls, set up anti-cavalry palisades, and more. Laying all that groundwork is what led them to victory.
It's strange how the stories of King Lug don't go into much detail about him. But once you dig a bit, you realize he was a really talented tactician. I feel like I see him in a whole new light now. Say, do you think we could use this strategy in an upcoming battle? I know we can't do the exact same thing, but in that geography book you recommended to me before...
Where have you been hiding this talent? You're absorbing everything I teach you like a sponge. I can see why Lord Lenato had such faith in you.
Oh, it's not that. You're just a really good teacher.
Even taking that to be true, you're clearly an exceptional student. I'm actually sort of jealous that Dimitri gets a great knight like you by his side. I'd love to find some reason to steal you away to my territory after the war.
Don't joke like that, Sylvain. I serve His Majesty alone.
Ooh, shut down. But yeah, I get it. Still, are you really gonna devote your entire life to being a royal knight? To live and die in Ferdiad?
That was my initial idea. But I had a talk with His Majesty recently that made me reconsider. He asked if I wanted to succeed Lenato and take over Castle Gaspar after the war.
Castle Gaspar, huh? That makes sense. Adopted or not, you are Lord Lenato's heir.
I doubt the townspeople will be very accepting of me after I allowed him to die. But I'm still the only one capable of taking on the job. Or at least that's how I like to think of it.
Sounds like a huge responsibility, all right. Definitely can't ask you to come to House Gautier in that case.
That land meant everything to Lenato, and I would do anything to protect it. I want to help other people the same way he helped me. And I think I'm finally strong enough to do that now.
I should have expected as much. But hey, if that's what you want to do, I've got your back. A little education can be handy for a knight, but castle lords need to learn everything they can get their hands on. So let me know if you ever need old Teach to fill your little head full of info, and I'll come running. Sheesh, listen to me. I think your serious nature is contagious.
You joke, but I think you've always been a serious person deep down. You're an intelligent man who's always got his mind on one thing or another. I mean, aside from the way you acted back at the academy.
Oh, the unkindest cut. Completely accurate, but still.
I'm excited to learn everything I can from you, Sylvain. I really am.
No, Annette! Get back!
Oh, that was a close one. Good thing we had water nearby.
My apologies. It was foolish for me to attempt that without prior experience.
No, it was my fault for asking you to try and light it with magic.
The fault is mine alone. You had no way of knowing that my aptitude for magic was so lacking. We were lucky it only resulted in a small explosion. Had the flames spread, it easily may have proved disastrous.
Aw, don't beat yourself up over it. We were able to put it out quickly, and that's all that matters.
What a remarkably positive spin on the matter. Still, I'm relieved you weren't hurt. I have always been abysmal at magic. My father and grandfather were the same, so perhaps I inherited it from them.
Yeah. I guess you're better suited to fighting with something sharp and pointy.
Actually, I had a fair amount of interest in becoming a mage when I was a boy. An old friend of mine would give magic demonstrations, and I always found myself terribly jealous of her abilities.
Well, you know there's a school of sorcery in the capital, right? You definitely should have enrolled.
But I knew they only accepted students who display at least a modicum of talent for the craft. Every time I glimpsed one of those students, I found myself envious of their skill.
I had no idea. But hey, if you're interested, how about I teach you a bit? We can start right now.
You would do that?
Sure. See, I've been helping out at the school ever since I came back to the capital. And after talking with everyone there, I've been thinking it would be fun to, you know, teach somebody. I'd like to help people get better at magic, even if they're really, really, really bad at it.
A fine aspiration. If you'll have me, I would be honored to be your first pupil. Though I imagine your skills can be put to use helping many people besides just myself. I know I am not the first person, nor will I be the last, to accidentally conjure up an explosion.
Come on, Dimitri. It's not like I'll be that much help. But regardless, I'm confident that becoming a teacher is the path for me. Right then, Your Majesty. Let's start by practicing some fire magic.
You want me to cast the same spell again? Well, if you think it best.
Fire spells are the most basic magic of all. You just let the old power build up, and then boom, let loose. Okay, so start by using your hands to focus your energy.
Like this?
Don't be so hesitant. We've got plenty of water here, so really lean into it.
I wasn't intending to hold back. Perhaps I could charge it up a bit more.
Ah! Your Majesty, are you all right?
I fear we may have a long road ahead of us.
Ingrid, I have brought sustenance.
Oh, thank you, Dedue. These look wonderful. Your timing is impeccable. I was just about to wrap this up.
Writing reports?
Yes, I was summing up the results from our most recent battle in the Dusker region. It was a dreadful fight. It will be quite some time still before the situation in Dusker stabilizes. Obviously, I'm glad those involved in the tragedy were captured in the end, but
like any other region, Dusker is home to all kinds of people. Some good, some bad.
exactly, the kingdom is no different. We may have our fair share of villains, but we should not be blaming innocent people for the actions of the bad ones.
It's human nature to generalize. I'd be lying if I claimed to hold no hatred towards Fargus for the devastation it brought to my home. But I've come to meet many kinds of people as I've lived here with His Majesty. Some hurled stones and insults, not only at me, but at His Majesty as well. Yet some remained kind to me, despite my heritage.
I guess I never really had to think about it like that. Honestly, Dedue, if not for you, I would have gone on stubbornly hating and fearing everyone from Dusker. No matter how much His Majesty insisted on their innocence.
But you did meet me, and now you have taken the first step toward change. It may not be my place, but I find that willingness to change admirable.
I am wholly undeserving of such praise. I still have a long way to go. But enough of this. After I am finished here, maybe we could grab a bite together in town.
Sure.
The other day, His Majesty introduced me to an inn that serves the most excellent food. It is actually owned by someone from Dusker. I was amazed how much I enjoyed everything. I would love to take you there.
Ingrid.
Yes? I am sorry, are you not interested? Or do you have other plans?
Nothing like that. You said His Majesty brought you there.
Well, yes. He seemed quite familiar with the owner.
I see. Call for me when you're ready. Right now, I must find His Majesty and remind him not to be so cavalier in his movements, even with you at his side.
Oh dear. Perhaps I should not have mentioned that part.
What were you thinking? Sticking your nose into some soldier's fight? You have a lot of growing up to do if you're still throwing yourself in the middle of random brawls like that. Keep this up, and House Fraldarius' reputation will be rolling in the mud with you. Not to mention how it reflects poorly on His Majesty, considering he's the one who made you a duke.
I know all that.
Do you? Because you don't look like a man who's achieved some fantastic new enlightenment.
This is rich coming from you. I liked it better when you used to take the heat.
Are you kidding? You were always the one being scolded when we were kids.
Only because you were a half-wit who kept dragging me into your ludicrous schemes.
Was that how it was? Now, whatever you say. But tell me, what's got you swinging your fists around this time?
Nothing specific. I just couldn't back down after getting involved.
You really need to start being more careful. Look, you've even got a bruise going. Who knows what would happen to Fargus if we lost you?
I won't say you'd be fine without me, but you do know I could fall in battle any day now, right?
Bite your tongue, Felix. Just think for 2 seconds. What would happen to Fargus? And to His Majesty if you died? He's got too much on his plate already, yet he insists on doing everything himself. War with the Empire, battles outside Fodlan, governing the kingdom, reforming the entire social structure of pretty much everything. If he didn't have you at his side, he'd fall flat on his face.
You speak as though you have no stake in this whatsoever. We're in the same situation. One of these days, you'll inherit the title of Margrave Gautier. Are you ready for that?
I know. Trust me, I am very well aware. Which is why I always act with the utmost integrity.
You're the complete opposite of integrity. Though I suppose you have been attempting to shake some of your old habits recently.
You know, it wouldn't kill you to pat me on the back every once in a while.
You're like a baby that just learned to walk. A pat on the back would only knock you over. You can try to make up for your past actions all you want, but that kind of thing isn't easily swept aside. The sooner you realize that, the better.
That tongue of yours is sharp as ever, I see. Never change, Felix.
I guess I was a touch reckless this time, as much as I hate to admit it. So I'll give you that much.
There you are, Felix. Why didn't you tell me?
Tell you what?
About the fight you got into the other day with those soldiers.
Oh, that. Don't worry, I won't do it again.
One of my men told me the whole story of what actually went down. Apparently, one of your soldiers was mocking the heir of House Gautier, who just so happens to be me. And he started getting into it with everyone else, which is when you decided to jump in.
Worst decision of my life. But like I said, I'm done with all that. I only stepped in because I thought it was my responsibility to make my men see sense. But my fists tend to move faster than my brain, as I'm sure you know.
I'm very well aware. Still, I'm curious why you didn't tell me everything right away.
Because he said some really nasty stuff about you. I didn't want your delicate ears dropping off in horror.
Okay, now I'm even more curious. Anyway, sorry for tearing into you without knowing the full story.
No, I'm the one who should apologize. I can't let personal life influence business, even if it does concern you.
You shouldn't worry about it. People speaking poorly about me is something of a regular occurrence. And honestly, I deserve every last bit of it. I was a real scoundrel in my younger days. Caused a whole lot of people a whole lot of headaches. That kind of talk isn't your fault or your soldier's fault. The blame lies squarely with the man I used to be.
So, why didn't you do something about that man when you were younger?
It was just... I had to be that way, you know? I had to play the part of the flippant, carefree rogue because... Anyway, look, I know I'm a real piece of work, but that's just me being me.
Fine. Perhaps you do deserve to be made fun of. But I still won't stand it coming from a bunch of curs who don't know a single thing about you. You may not have the title of Margrave yet, but you still make yourself pretty useful. I've seen how you've helped Gabor, and I guess you will help me too.
Wow, Felix, that's... Wow. Oh boy, I think someone's cutting onions in here.
Be quiet! Can't you listen to someone for 2 seconds without opening your fat mouth and completely ruining the moment? You always have been too smart and too loud for your own good. Even if no one can match you in military tactics or domestic affairs. And so like you said, we've got problems piling up both inside and out of the kingdom. But with you around, we might just be able to see our way clear of it.
That's a lot of problems to pile on one person, especially when he isn't half as great as you're implying. I mean, I might be, say, 7% more cunning than you, but that's pretty much it. If we really want to be useful to Fargus and Dimitri, we need to work together, so we can balance out each other's weaknesses.
I suppose that's true. In which case, I guess I'm counting on you. I may even need you. Maybe. Besides, I'd be stuck with nothing but miserably dour folks without you around. I'm not sure I could handle it.
You don't have to tell me twice, old friend. I'll always be there for you. I promise.
You saw one too. Glad it wasn't just me.
There you are, Ashe. I've been worried sick about you. You were white as a sheet during our training earlier, and I was concerned you had taken ill.
No, I'm sure that was all just in your head.
That's not your usual carefree smile.
I guess I can't hide anything from you, huh? Truth is, I turned my ankle during practice. Thankfully, it's all right, but... well, it reminded me of the time I saw a ghost when I was a little kid.
Wait, a proper ghost? Oh, what did it look like? Did it say anything? What was it wearing? Oh dear, I'm sorry. I let myself get carried away there. I understand if you don't want to talk about it.
No, it's all right. I can't let myself live in fear of it forever. So on that day, my brother took sick with a fever, and I went into the mountains to look for medicinal herbs. As I was walking along some unstable ground, I saw a large figure in the fog.
And you're sure there wasn't anyone else on the mountain with you that day?
Yeah, I was definitely alone up there. Plus, when I tried saying hello, the figure didn't answer. I knew then and there it was a ghost, and in my hurry to escape, my foot slipped, and I turned my ankle.
Well, it's important to be careful about where you step.
Wait, that's your takeaway? The story doesn't scare you at all?
Not really. If I'm honest, I heard a similar tale some time back. A long time ago, a man on a pilgrimage saw a strange, shadowy figure deep in the Ogma Mountains. He panicked and began to scream, thinking it a ghost or some other manner of evil omen. But in truth, it was none of those things.
Wait, so if it wasn't a ghost, what was it?
It was his own shadow reflected in the mist.
What? Then maybe what I saw was...
I can't say for certain, but it may have simply been a trick of the light.
Oh gosh. I feel silly for being afraid of my own shadow for so many years.
It's quite understandable for you to mistake it for a ghost, especially since you hadn't heard the story about the shadowy figure.
Thanks, Mercedes. That makes me feel a lot better. Hey, but if you have time, you should listen to this guy's story.
Sorry, whose story?
This guy right here. Apparently he saw a real ghost a long time ago.
Ashe? You are the only other person here.
What? Come on. He's standing right next... Huh?
You were alone when I found you.
Wait, so you never saw him? What does that mean? Was he,